Tuesday, November the 8th, it is election day, and we are live here on Swerving News. Swerve. But anyways, today's an important day, so I thought it'd be good to put out a video and talk about some of the current events that are going on in this awful and honestly frightening timeline that we're all existing in. When you watch things from the mainstream media, you often get a narrative that fits a certain goal, and there's an agenda behind whatever it is they're pushing out to the masses. Today, I'm going to show you some examples of exactly what I mean by that. To a lot of people online, some of the shit I post, I get called an extremist alt-right person, and that makes zero sense to me. I fucking despise the alt-right, but I also despise the alt-left. I think both sides are equally as bad as each other. But what I see often pushed from big tech is more of the narrative coming from the left, and that's why I like to talk about it and bring examples of it to show to you. So let's get into it.
Tomorrow, the last of the voters will line up at the polls. Now, if you live in communities that are predominantly black or brown, the lines will probably be extra long because there will be fewer voting machines for you. And if you're in Georgia, you can't have any water. In Arizona, you'll likely be under the watchful eye of armed insurrectionist red hats. And in Florida, Governor DeSantis, the chosen protector of God's planned paradise, sent on the 8th day of creation, a.k.a. Ron DeSanctimonious, per his previous orange overlord, who now hates him, is laying down the groundwork for election police to arrest you, again, especially if you're black.
Mainstream media often speaks to its viewers as if they're dumb, ignorant folk. They push stories with fear at the forefront and demonize those who do their own research.
4 words, 4 little words that are hurting America's pandemic response. What are they? Here, let Sean Hannity tell you. He loves these words.
Do your own research. Please do your own research. Do your own research. Do your own research. There's a ton of it right on, at the tip of your fingers on your own phone.
Right, and that's the problem. Do your own research. Everybody has a supercomputer in their hand that empowers them to do their own research, which is great, right? Isn't it?
They want you to take their view as gospel. But the fact is, you're not stupid, and you're not ignorant, and you have the power to think for yourself. Don't be afraid to do your own research.
That phrase, do your own research, it's popping up a lot in conversations about coronavirus and about COVID vaccines. Approach, doing your own research. It seems so innocent, but it can have serious consequences.
Don't be afraid to question the mainstream media narrative. They're not always right, and in fact, more often than not, they are quite wrong.
People I ever hear use the word inflation are journalists and economists, right? So that is not part of the normal lexicon of the way people talk. So it's interesting that Republicans are doing something they don't normally do, right? Which is not use the common tongue, right? Not use just common English to sort of do on their campaigns like they're doing with crime. But what they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right? Yeah. Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it, including on TV, including in newspapers. They've been taught this word, and they sort of wrap this word around whatever it is that they really want to vote.
So do not let them control your thinking. Do your own research and form your own opinion. That's the best way to stay informed and to make sure you're getting the whole story.
Defy them. Get in line and stay in line. Voting is your right in this country, at least for now, until Clarence and his fellow right-wing court zealots determine that the white Christian elites in your state legislature own the task of choosing your representation, in addition to having full custody of pregnant people's bodies.
The media loves to use fear to get its point across. They'll make it seem like the whole world is going to crumble unless their agenda is followed to a T. This is nothing new. The media has always used fear to try to control the masses, but we're not going to let them control us. We're going to stand up and fight for what's right. We're not going to let the media dictate our lives with fear porn and lies.
How the attack on Paul Pelosi struck you, and what did it tell you about the state of the right in this country and the hate toward a powerful woman?
Well, I think your question kind of answers itself, Joy. There's always been a streak of violence, of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, as you said.
The left likes to act as if they're the party of love and the party of tolerance and that everything is just going to be great with them. But when they don't get their way, you see a whole paradigm shift with their behaviors, and they start acting like this.
Just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
So I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
Feel like punching him.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
So, you know, they're always so against violence, and the right is just so violent in everything they do, and January 6th was the worst day ever, and blah, 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 blah. As bad as January 6th was, it was idiotic, and that's it. And they like to push this whole failure in our democracy that day, and one thing that's never made sense to me is they were all for that whole summer of rioting because of injustices.
Started as a fight for justice has descended into chaos. Protesters chase down the truck and swarm over the cabin. Eventually the driver is dragged out and beaten by the mob. 75 cities are living through these protests. Many are in flames. More than half have imposed curfews.
If you guys are all for fighting the power and bringing justice back to the people, then wouldn't that be the best place to go and protest, where the laws are written? Don't let that go over your head, though. But hey, you know, that's the end of this video. As you go out and vote today, vote with your heart, vote with your own mind, and don't let any of these outside influences dictate what you think, what you say, and how you feel. Have a great day. Stay safe.